Welcome to another episode of Addiction Uncovered, where we talk about the truth behind addiction and hear inspirational stories of recovery. I'm your host, Jill, and today I'm joined by Joe. Joe has been sober since April 21st, 2007. He's actually my cousin, and I honestly don't know very much about your recovery journey because it's not something we really openly talk about. I mean, our family talks about a lot of things. Just this happens to be something that you and I haven't sat down and actually talked about. So I'm really interested in learning more. We've come from a very big and loving Italian family, and I'm really honored to have such an amazing recovery story among my own family, especially with all the work that I do. And I'm really proud of you, and I know the rest of the family is too.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here with me today. Tell us how your own struggle with addiction started.
My mental health issues started as a kid. My parents put me in special education classes, so I never really developed the mental skills till I was an adult. I had a lot of trouble in school, so I would cope with life with different addictions such as eating, isolating, just not focusing on what I should be focusing on as a young kid. And it progressed into junior high, and school was just not easy for me. And then that's kind of where I met, the people I grew up with, and we just had behavior issues. And my struggle with addiction started early. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it really started even prior to you starting to use. It was the mental health struggle and being in the school and trying to just get through day by day. And then eventually when you're introduced to drugs or alcohol, it's probably just a way to like fit in or escape from all that like hardship, or what do you think?
Well, when I was a kid, my first addiction was food. And like we would go to our Nana's house, and the food would be so good, but my father, who passed away, he used to say, Giuseppe, I just want you to have one plate. But I was so depressed from school that I'd end up eating 3 plates. I mean, yes, our Nana's food was delicious.
Unbelievable.
But a normal child should only be eating 1 plate. And my next addiction came through weightlifting, because even as a kid, we would be at our Aunt Kathy's house, and I remember seeing the weights for the first time.
In the basement, right? It's down the basement? Oh, my gosh, yeah.
I was just addicted.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with it because weightlifting helped me with self-esteem, even at a young age. And I never understood, but it just weightlifting became my escape from different things. So before I started doing drugs and partying and running around in negative situations, my addiction started early with coping with life through food and with weightlifting, the escape.
Well, and I think people would probably look at the weightlifting piece and be like, but that's a good thing. But we can always take anything, whatever it is, even if it's supposed to be good for us, we can like take it to the extreme, right?
Yes.
And so that's kind of where you saw yourself going. So you already had like that tendency to if you're going to do something, you're going to do a lot of it.
Well, I didn't do it healthy. Even at a young age, I just became obsessed with it. Like I grew up around powerlifters, and the supplements started at a young age. And my father, I remember the first time he caught me with a supplement, my father was heated, and I got disciplined verbally about it. And he talked to one of the elders in the weight room, because I think I was 13, and the guy gave me a vitamin, and my father went in and lit into him about it, and said, he's only, he's a teenager, don't give my son this. And that's, then that's just how I learned. My parents were beautiful people, friendly people, but they're very strict. But it's something I needed at a young age because I was very lazy, and that was another addiction that I had, was being lazy, because it was easier for me to be lazy and cope with life rather than get up and have the mental discipline to have that positive mental health.
So then where it gets hazy for me is when I was, I don't know, probably in high school. Well, not quite in high school, because you are a couple years older than me.
Yes.
So a lot of things started happening. Like, I knew that you were like struggling. I didn't know any details. I think our family is really supportive, but they also don't really want to air everybody's business or like shame anyone. I think they're real careful about what, at least our parents were really careful about what information they share out of just love and respect for our families, right? And so I didn't know a whole lot about what was going on with like you being in trouble, you know, or I didn't know. Like, tell me a little bit about when things were bad. What was going on? What was happening?
So I first started self-harming through the criminal world when I was 14. At school, the kids from my neighborhood, we really didn't mix well with the rich kids, and there was a lot of fighting, and that's when I just made the decision. I just tried to be something I wasn't. Through the Narcotics Anonymous program, I have learned what is called self-acceptance. And I learned the reason why I had these issues when I was younger is because I didn't respect myself. And I didn't understand life. And I wasn't respecting myself. And I started partying and making bad choices. And my mother is very strict. Very, very strict. Nice lady, but she's very strict. I didn't have very good self-discipline when I was a kid. So my mom, she tried to teach me the fundamentals of self-discipline, whether it be self-care, having positive mental health, accountability, not fighting over petty stuff. So I've learned a lot from my mother, but back then I didn't really understand life because I was young. I had no wisdom. And I made the choice to do what I did.
Yeah. And I know your parents are a huge influence for you, as they are for anybody that came into contact with your dad. He's an amazing human. He's my godfather. So he's just unbelievable man. And then
I miss him.
Oh, yeah.
I miss him.
Yeah, I can only imagine. We all do. And then knowing the relationship you guys had, it's hard. Then we think about your mom, who is also an amazing human. But, you know, I think always the families, I shouldn't say always, in our family, I feel like the intention was always just because they loved you and wanted to make sure that you were okay and that you were safe and that you were going to live through this, because there was probably a lot of times they were really scared for you.
Well, my parents, they joined what is called Al-Anon. And Al-Anon is a 12-step group for families of addicts. And I am truly grateful that Al-Anon gave my parents the tools on how to deal with me, because I am a success story because of the Al-Anon program. So where I hit rock bottom as a teen is I disrespected my mother. And in our family, that's not acceptable. And my dad, he woke me up one day. He's like, well, I got a place for you to go. And I said something smart, and I got aggressive, so my father had to defend himself. And he dropped me off at the Open Door Mission. And, you know, I had to learn I was homeless. And I'm forever grateful my mom and dad didn't coddle me. I'm grateful because my parents got the tools from Al-Anon on how to deal with me, and from that led me to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, And I started in AA, but my home is in Narcotics Anonymous. I work with a NA sponsor. I do the 12 steps in Narcotics Anonymous, and that is what saved my life. Truly saved my life, you know.
And you've been sober for a long time now. If I'm doing the math right, we're talking almost 20 years?
I have been clean for 18 years. Yeah.
Wow. What's the best thing about being sober?
What's the best thing about being clean? I would say self-love. Self-love. I mean, learning the NA way and meeting people in the fellowship. So I would say there's two things for me. Self-love, and then living a life I never thought I dreamed of having.
Tell me about that. What is that?
Are you just talking about like what did I do to achieve that, or what?
No, what is this life that you never thought you'd be living? What does your life look like?
Well, right now, I've been out of jail for 20 years. I have not been homeless in 16 years. I have 18 years clean. I am a member of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, and I work in the dairy industry. I live a life of happiness. I have mental health that I've never thought I'd have. I mean, for so many years, you mind if I tell you about my sponsor for?
Yeah.
So, I met a man. He was nothing like me. He was kind of I want to say a hippie. He grew up in rural America, and he saved my life. He's who taught me the NA program, and he taught me how to apply the steps, how to live the steps, what it's like to be in recovery. And there were many times where we were working steps one day, and I was telling him, I was ranting about something, and he goes, well, you know, nice is normal. I go, what do you mean nice is normal? He goes, you know, being a nice person is normal. And that's kind of really what changed me. So I always remember getting the phone call because his name was Kerry. And I always remember getting the phone call because they couldn't find Kerry. And they were looking for Kerry. And make a long story short, Kerry committed suicide with 30 plus years clean. And so I learned recovery from a person who committed suicide. And he was my savior. He is who saved me. He gave an angry person a chance to be happy. My sponsor, who I have now, I've been studying the steps for probably about 4 or 5 years with him. And so to answer your question, cousin, I live a life that I never thought I'd have. I mean, like, I was struggling financially, and I remember I was complaining at a meeting one day, and a member of the fellowship, he's like, well, if you don't like your job, why don't you do something about it? And he helped me get on where I'm at now. I was struggling with self-confidence to drive, and the members of the fellowship, they encouraged me to drive. And so because of my friends in the NA community, I live a life I never thought I dreamed of having. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at all. Yeah, so those are some of the benefits that I've gotten through recovery.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you because it isn't typical that I have someone so close to me sitting across and having this conversation. So I'm getting emotional.
Okay.
And it isn't in a bad way. It's just this like overwhelming sense of like pride and happiness.
Yep.
Because you're able to find community and you're able to find I mean, you weren't looking for love within the family because it's all there, but you just felt like really, it feels like a reminder of how some of those things can really make a huge difference. And to see the kind of cloud that was over you for such a long period of time and to see where you're at today, I knew it a little, but I didn't think that it would hit me so much, like emotionally. I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
And because I've seen what it has done, and just the fear, and that's what I remember. Growing up, I think everybody was just really scared. They were scared not of you, but scared of like what is going to happen to him. Is he going to make it? Is he going to be okay? Is he going to go to jail? Is he going to die? Is he going to get into a fight and then that's going to be it? Like, there's just so much fear that the family had. And so to see you where you are today, and not only just to see you doing the things, but to hear like how grateful and proud you are of where you've come, it warms my heart a lot.
Yep.
So thank you.
This is very important for me all as well. Your father mentored me after my dad passed away. And there were many times where I didn't have my dad, and it was a struggle for me after my dad passed away because my father was who I would go to for wisdom in life. But I remember in 2010, and my life was spiraling out of control, and I was suicidal, and I ended up in a homeless shelter. I had just lost everything, and I'm just being honest, I had a suicide plan, and I made one final call. That was to your brother. That was to your brother, Nick. Mm-hmm. And I remember like it was yesterday when he came into the homeless shelter. I was mentally exhausted and emotionally exhausted, and he had a long talk with me, and our cousin Danny, he was getting ready to board the plane to, I believe he went to Iraq or Afghanistan, and he was rooting for it. He could send me an email, and he was like, "I'm rooting for you." And he says, "You got to remember, the only discipline is self-discipline." And your brother, though, like, he helped me at a time where I didn't care no more, and I had a serious mental breakdown. He helped me file an application for a job, and I got a job. And I worked in the restaurant industry for 11 and a half years. And I always would tell him, hey, I'm doing good. And then I remember one time I kind of had a breakdown, and your dad came down, and I won't say he yelled at me, but he gave me a stern lecture. And that's something I needed because, and then when he left, I was like, well, that voice inside your head was your critic. And I was like, well, you know what, Joe? You're a failure to your father again. And it was at that moment where I needed to make changes because I had felt like I embarrassed my dad. And your father, he had been mentoring me, so he, picked me up. And when I made the career change that I did, I asked your dad if we could go visit my father's grave. And, I had showed him my new job. And So I'll celebrate 4 years of service. I believe I should celebrate 4 years of service on my new job in March. Mm-hmm. And I live a life I never thought I dreamed of having, because in 2010, like I said, didn't want to be here. I didn't want to, but my mom, she's always taught me that I self-sabotage. But my sponsor right now, he's always taught me that if I don't work the steps, I'm not going to make it. Because I could come in here and talk recovery, but if I'm not working the steps, applying the steps, because the steps are where it's at. I'm forever grateful for what Dr. Bob and Bill W. created when they made AA, but I study what Jimmy K. created, Narcotics Anonymous, and I've lost so many people to this disease of addiction. It's sad. Even in my 40s, mm-hmm. I've been to funerals for people who had mental breakdowns, and so.
Mm-hmm. So just a miracle that not only did you survive that, but that you're thriving now, that you're living this life that is very consistent. It's very community-based. You have a community of people within NA and within your family and friends and your work. Like there's just so many things I can just tell just from watching on social media and talking with you that you're just so proud of what you've created. Mm-hmm. And really grateful of what you have.
Well, it's a process that we always say that it's called securing the love of the fellowship, and what that means to me is when I go into study the steps and I go into whether it be the AA community or the NA community is. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. So there are addicts who, even in the AA community, there are people who are struggling with self-harming. And as long as they have that desire, I applaud them. But for me, I have to have the desire every day, because not every day is a day where Joe wants to be happy or Joe, but my mom, she's always taught me this is I need to be accountable for my behavior. And that's something that my mom has taught me, because I'm not always a perfect person. There's days where I don't want to be around people. There's days where I'm mentally tired, but, I've had to apologize to people before, because there may be a day where I'm in a bad mood. Mm-hmm. There may be a day where I'm happy, but I know that I have the skills from the steps to overcome this. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of gratitude for, our family, because they had to, I don't want to say disown me, but when I was younger, they had to say, hey, you can't come around because you're unhealthy. And I have been welcomed with open arms. And but the thing about recovery to me is I can wake up every day and have the choice. Because I remember when I was little, my mother, when I got disciplined for my behavior, she would say, you have the option. And that's something I've always kept from what my mother taught me is I have the option to have a good day and I have the option to have a bad day. But in Narcotics Anonymous, through the steps, I have learned that I don't have to cope with my problems through different things. Like even if I have been clean for 18 years, I still struggle with emotional shopping, eating, just there's several different addictions that I'm still working on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a work in progress too, right? You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, and it's just, when you go to bed at night knowing, okay, I made it through the day, even though today was harder than it was yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be better. Yeah.
What was so powerful for me is when you told your testimony. That was so powerful to me because, like, you motivated me to be here today, because usually I don't do these things because I don't really like talking a lot. But when you shared your testimony and you had the courage to do that, I thought that was very inspirational. And I think that yourself and the staff here are doing a great job, because in the recovery community, we call it carrying the message. And you guys are doing a great job carrying the message, because every day in my neighborhood, driving to work, or, basically in my personal and professional days, I see the reality of this disease, because we have homeless camps. We have people laying on the ground, and we see the nature of this disease. And the disease is, these drugs are no good. I've seen people just who beg for money. I mean, I don't think I'm better than, because, I used to eat at the soup kitchens. I used to eat in the homeless shelters, and, I slept under bridges before. I'm not better than these people. My father, he used to tell me when I was younger, he'd say, Giuseppe, I'm not better than anyone. I just try to do the best I can each day. That's something that he taught me. He said, you're not better than anyone. You just got to do the best you can each day. And so when I go out in the world and I see the dumpster I used to sleep behind when I drive on the way to my job, I just have so much gratitude, because of the fact that I'm a choice away from going back to the shelter, and I just had to stay motivated. So
awesome. Well, Joe, thank you for coming and hanging out with me for a little bit and talking about just your journey through all of this, and helping to give other people inspiration, giving me inspiration. It's meant a lot to me to hear from you directly of what that's been like, and how us as a family have helped to just come together and embrace you, and how now you're giving that love back. It's so awesome. And I just want you to know how proud your dad must be of you.
Thank you.
And how proud the rest of the family is of you, and all of the work that you've put in to get to where you are now. And that even through all of that, we never stopped loving you. We never gave up hope. I think we all were just praying that you would be able to, like you said, live the life that you never thought you would live, because you deserve that. So thank you for being here and being a part of my family, and I love you.
Love you too, cousin.
And I'm really proud of you, so thank you for sharing your story.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.